What's on, people? It's Mr. Back game with the preview game from today's match. Nottingham Forest v Millwall. The game ended 1-1. I've got some special guests in today. I've got the usual Dylan. Dylan, how you doing, Dylan?
I'm good, mate. I'm good.
We've got a new one as well. We've got Steve. How you doing, Steve?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
I'm not too bad. And last but not least, we've got the second favourite YouTuber, Nottingham Forest YouTuber, behind Max, Steve. Max. We've got Rads. How you doing?
I'm good, mate.
Good. Today we're talking about today's game, and as everyone knows, it ends 1-1. If you want to get some questions in to the lads, put comments below. If you are new to the channel, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you are new, and let's start. So today's game ended 1-1. We'll start with you, Dylan. 1-1.
Yes.
Fair result?
Yeah, proper. Yeah, fair result. Played against a team that play very, very ugly. Me personally, like we said earlier, nothing about them really. Just seem to make fouls and constantly just oofing the ball up. But yeah, fair result for me.
What about you, Steve? Steve, are you the same as well?
Yeah, I think it was a fair result. I think 1-1. I have to agree with Dylan. Nothing about them. I think the way we started after the first 5 or 6 minutes, we came out like a steam train and really looked at it, and I thought, wow, what a change this has been. But then I think, a bit of Gary Rout, method in playing, slow it down, oof it up, get a bit physical, get the niggly fouls, and it took us out our stride a little bit. Second half, I was really impressed second half because we went a goal down, and I think when that goal went in, I think my first reaction was 2 weeks ago this would have been a 3-0 to Millwall because we'd have just gave up, but we went in. Obviously a new manager. I think he's a bit of a breath of fresh air, this new guy, and they came out a different team in the second half, and we got that goal, if fluke or whatever, but we deserved a goal. And a point. And I think, like I just said to you, Ben, off air, I think if we'd walked out that Middlesbrough game and someone said to us, well, in the next 2 games, you're going to get 4 points, we'd have snapped their hands off. So I think, if I'm honest with you, I think Cooper's come in and Cooper would like to be out the relegation zone this time next week. And then he's got his 2 weeks and then he can build on it. I think that's his first target for me. But yeah, fair result today. Fair result.
Raz, do you echo same with Dylan and Steve?
Yeah, definitely. I think as we've already mentioned, basically the first half I thought was really weak, to be honest. I think we started it fairly well. I remember Grabban had a good chance, and I think as Cooper said in his interview, I think Grabban going off injured did kind of kill the momentum of the game a little bit, and it kind of swayed towards Millwall. And yeah, we couldn't get our own half at times, but I think the second half we did improve quite a lot, to be fair. Not obviously enough to win, but I think there's definitely positives. I think obviously the goal for Lowe was a bit of a fluke, but it doesn't matter how they go in, of course. Overall, I think it is a fair result, a draw. And, there weren't anything major to anything special, really, but
I know. It was funny because, like, I'm talking about Millwall, and I'll talk to Steve because me and Dylan kept saying about Millwall. They only had one thing. All they do was long ball to was Matt Smith, and it wasn't really special, was this, Steve?
No. It was a bit long ball hoof, weren't it? Hoof it up to Matt Smith. I agree. I thought Thick played well today. Actually, I thought he really did play well because he's, against that physical sort of presence of Matt Smith. I thought he did really well. But again, I couldn't see the last 2 games I've been to, Huddersfield away and today. All the lads have stepped up to the mark, and I think the future's bright for us personally. We ain't gonna, no disrespect, touch wood, we ain't gonna go down this year. Eventually,
it's still early days, Steve. It's still early days.
Yeah, we're not gonna go down, not at all. We're gonna start going up the league. You can see that in the way he did. But yeah, it was just one thing. It was niggly fouls, and hoof it up, and it was. I wouldn't want to watch that every week, would you?
No. I was just saying, like you mentioned Figs, Steve, and on with this you Dylan Brad. As well, if anyone else, who do you think the man of the match was today? I'll start you, Dylan. Like, what players? I'm not saying who was the man of the match. So what players like impressed with you? It's Steve Cooper's first game in charge. What players impressed with you today, Dylan?
Players impressed with me was Spence. Spence just looks a different kettle of fish. You could see at times when he was open, he was trying to get the ball down. Do you know what I mean? There was a couple of times, like Steve Cooper said in his interview after the game, says there was a few passes that they should have made a bit more. And I think him down that wing, if we'd have got the ball to him straight away, we would have attacked even more. Do you know what I mean? He was good. Lowe was good. Again, the back three looks solid. I think they work well as a back three.
I don't think Joe Worrell did though. I personally think that I don't think Joe Worrell was great today.
But Worrell, but don't forget Worrell's probably played most of his career as a back four, like just the two centre backs. But obviously he's got to get used to it, hasn't he?
I don't. What do you think, Stephen Raz? Like we mentioned, that the back three was great, but I just you think Joe Worrell, like I just don't think he could handle Matt Smith. I think we mentioned Figs. I think Figs handled him well, but I just don't think Joe Worrell was at his game today. What do you think, Steve?
Well, he's entitled. He didn't have a poor game today, but he might not have had one of his better games. But you know, I won't go too much on that. Yeah, it may have been he got lucky, I think, in the second half with that foul, didn't he? I mean, when he gave it away, you know, the ref could have seen it a different way, I thought. But yeah, he didn't set it alight, but I just thought at that back three, I thought Fig was he gets a lot of criticism and he stuck out. Fig did. Do you know what I mean? Someone else who I thought, and I'm going to get slated for this. I know I am.
Say it.
Someone else who I think the last two games I've sort of thought, hold on, he's not had a bad couple of games. I think you all know where this is going. Is Yates. I thought Yates
I knew that was good.
Had two good games. He had one at Huddersfield. He had one today. And players and fans need to get off that lad's back, because I tell you what, in the second half, I'm at the trend. The amount of little niggly tackles he put in, And I thought the last two games, I thought he's done really, really well to me. Huddersfield away and today.
There's a thing like and this is the thing when I spoke to Dylan, I don't think it was Dylan or Steve. Like with Ryan Yates, I like him, but sometimes he does frustrate Forest fans. Like, but today I think it suited him, because we're in Millwall, they are our aggressive side, and today it suited him to the earth. But Forest fans are fickle. Everyone, like I'm fickle, everyone's fickle, and I think Ryan Yates he played well against Huddersfield, and I think he played well today.
Yeah, he did.
So he seems to play well. He seems to play well when he gets the ball and he goes forward.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people have a criticism of him is when he gets the ball, he looks forward, can't see a pass, and then he passes it back. I think that's what frustrates people more. He seems to pass the ball more backwards than he does forward. Like against Huddersfield, he got the ball and he just went forward. And today, I think he tried that a bit, but like you say, with Millwall, the way they set up after the first 10 minutes, they just settled in. So I think it kind of frustrates him in a way that I think he would get more respect off Forest fans if he was more creative going forward, because we've noticed that there was a couple of odd occasions when he got the ball and he went forward. You even said to me, Ben.
Yeah, well, Dylan,
you said to me.
Go on, what did I say? What did I say? Come on,
you said to me. You said to me that look, Yates is such a good player when he's got the ball and he's moving forward.
Yeah, we can't like. Right, we mentioned like Forest fans. Like, I don't know if people in the comments want to mention this. We always like players who like to flare the ball, but Ryan Yates he's a person. He tackles and he just likes to give the ball. Just gives someone, I don't know, a winger or something. But Forest fans just hate him because he just, I don't know. Like, what do you want him to do? To be like a Carvalho?
Probably. No, I'm not one of these people that hate him. I think he's a good player. I just sometimes I can see where the frustration comes from. It's because he just
he doesn't do.
he doesn't seem to go forward enough. Do you know what I mean? He's a young lad. Get the ball, push it forward straight away. As soon as he starts doing that,
I agree. Yeah.
What about you, Rad? I get the point. I understand the point, but what about you, Rad? Because people know Rad, he's a younger one, and all of us are the oldest. And sometimes I see Rad get frustrated sometimes on social media with players. Go on, Rad.
Yeah. I agree with the fact that Yates doesn't pass it forward enough, but to be fair, I think at times the whole team are guilty of that, because in the first half in particular, we were passing it back to the goalie way too much, in my opinion. And you definitely saw a change in the second half. We were definitely trying to be more forward thinking. We still did it because, every team does it. You have to do it occasionally, but I think it was way too much. Like like you were saying, Dylan, if he didn't know what to do, just pass it back to one of the centre backs, and then it would just filter back to the goalie or something. So I just think we do need to try and be a little bit more positive in terms of moving the ball forward, for sure. But I don't hate Yates at all. I think he is a good
You
player.
hate Yates, Rad. Stop lying.
I don't.
Listen,
No.
This is where Rad's trying to be little. Rad, I see your posts. I
never criticised Yates once. Nah. Not at all.
Do you criticize Yates sometimes on social media?
I don't remember.
I
people definitely do, yeah, but I don't agree with the amount of hate he does get. Like, I don't think any player deserves a ton of hate like he does, to be honest. So
I'll watch your tweet. I'll watch your tweet. Don't try.
But we'll find out soon when this Paraguayan lad can get into the squad, because obviously he's not going to take James Garner out, is there? And so obviously he's going to switch in for Yates. So obviously we're going to see a bit of a difference and see what happens there.
Do you think he would? Do you think he's going to do that though, Dylan? Swap him for Yates?
Yeah, because he won't get rid of James Garner because
I agree with that. Don't get rid of
because James Garner captains squads for him, and he knows James Garner and he knows his pedigree. Where Yates is kind of, it's not fair on him, but he's kind of, he can be taken out to try. Do you know what I mean? If this Paraguay lad doesn't work, then you're kind of safe with putting Yates back in.
But I mean, by all accounts, I mean, I listened to Tim Vickery on Talk Sport. He's a South American correspondent, and he said about this. Like I said to you, Ben, I always used to call him Odd Job because I didn't know his name, So what I mean, but they said about this, they couldn't believe some of the Premier League lower teams like Norwich, Brentford, and that didn't snap him up. And he says Forest have got an actual steal here. When this lad hits the ground running, he says Forest have got a steal here. He says, if he's not in the Premier League in a couple of years, he'd be quite surprised. He'll make Forest some money. So, and I think he trained on Friday, didn't he?
He did.
He trained on Friday, and I think by all accounts, I heard a whisper that Forest are not letting him go out on international duty.
I hope so.
Because of obviously the isolation period, because I think I think what Forest kicked off about was if he'd have been playing in the Premier League, he could have played. But because he was playing in the Championship, he wasn't classed as an elite player, so he had to self-isolate. So someone explained to me, how does that work with COVID rules, So I think Forest have said no, he's not going because they want him here.
You'd never see him. You'd never see him play. You'd never see him play. He'd only play one or two games, go on international duty, and then you'd only see him 2 or 3 times again and keep doing it.
But I think he can play both roles, can't he? He can play defensive midfield, a holding midfield, and he can also play attacking box to box. So again, something with Cooper. He may just change him. He may change it. He may practically change it.
If you are new to the channel, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and if you want to ask questions to the panel, please ask away. And if anyone wants to do any super chats as well, make sure you do a question. I'm gonna ask you, Raz, and this is Raz as well. Like, he's a young fan. I know, like, I'm not much to try and attack Raz because he's like, I know these young fans have not seen success like Steve has. So I've got to ask you because I know you've seen more success than me, Dylan, and Raz all together.
Did you know you can access 17,000 markets?
Who's not watching TV?
No, sorry, it's my phone.
You bellend. Right, so Steve Cooper's first game as charged. Was you happy with the appointment?
With Steve Cooper?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's, as everyone's been saying, he has got good pedigree for sure. And in just 2 years as a manager, he got Swansea 2 playoff campaigns, and he's won obviously the under-17s World Cup with England. So he's got good pedigree about him already. And I mean, maybe I don't think it really makes a difference, really, but he is also younger than Houghton. I just always like to think maybe if it is a younger manager, they might kind of, bond with the players better or something. He might have fresher ideas, because I think everyone said with Houghton is he was kind of maybe outdated at times with his tactics and that. Maybe, Cooper can find something new into how we do things. So, especially I think the fact we're playing 3 at the back now, it is a much more modern way of doing things, really. And I think you can tell the way Swansea played and the way he's going to probably take Forest forward. So, you say you keep an eye on my tweets, but I said on my Twitter that I thought it was a good appointment. So, I back that.
I'm actually this for you, Steve. I was saying, Lad probably got injured. Lad today come on, and everyone's gave. Even I gave some Lad a stick today for not just doing a striker's role. But was you frustrated with him today, or was you happy with him today?
I think if I'm honest with you, Ben, I said to you before when I came on, I'll never slag a player off who plays for Forest. I'll never do that. For me, I think that's one thing that we may struggle up to January. I actually wouldn't surprise me if Cooper actually says, well, we don't need anyone else because we've got them all in every other position. I'll work with them, but go and get me a forward.
Yeah.
I said
we got Silver, though. We got Silver.
Do you know what? He hasn't been on the bench for the last 2 games.
Pardon?
I tell you what, Ben, here's one. We'll have a little bet. I've got Forest playing Tuesday, yeah? Wednesday at Barnsley.
Yeah.
I wouldn't surprise me if Will Swan is on the bench ahead of Silver, because I think Grabban's not going to be fit. So we're going to need a forward, aren't we, to cover?
Swan, ooh, you're going for it, aren't you, Steve?
I'm not. I'm just saying. I think now, if Silver hasn't been on the bench for 2 games at Huddersfield, all right, and I'm just saying, as speaking out loud, I'm not saying he's no good. I'm not saying nothing. I'm just saying I wonder whether Swan will get that bench role, or a lad from the under-23. That's all my opinion. I think the frustrating thing with fans with Taylor is a big, strong lad, and he's on the floor more times than a carpet fitter.
He's like Bambi on ice.
Yeah, so
I feel through sometimes. It's just when, what frustrates me? Like I don't know if anyone heard his podcast. Was it Friday, Dylan?
Yeah.
Yes, something like that.
Like, I don't mind Forest fans, like Forest players, going on podcasts and talking about it, but I just don't. I'm not a fan of it. I prefer players doing podcasters at the end of the season, not through the season, because it's good. I said to Dylan, like, he's going to say positive stuff about Forest. He's not going to say anything negative. But I don't know if you agree, Steve or Rad. I was talking to Dylan about, do you really think he's going to say, oh, Cooper's this, Cooper's that, in a negative way? Really?
No,
No,
no player's going to come on. Yeah.
That's why I think he needs to concentrate on more on the pitch than off the pitch, because I know everyone, people agree, disagree with Lara Taylor's whatever he does, but I like him, but I prefer him to do more on the pitch and then saying, oh, Cooper's this, Cooper's that. It is frustrating.
But it gave you a good. Sorry. Just a quick one. The good thing about that podcast was it gave you a good insight into the last week of what's gone off in the club. That's what I liked about it, where he told you basically, with him coming in, he didn't come in and say, oh, I'm your new gaffer. Yeah, hi. He come in, basically, the first thing he said to him, we work on what we carry on what you did on Saturday. and he said that was a breath of fresh air because basically he didn't try and blow smoke up their arse. He was just basically like, right, we're here to work, let's get it done.
This is from Glenn. How you doing, Glenn? Totally agree with you, Steve, regarding Will Swan. He's on form for under 21s. I know was it Middlesbrough he scored against on Friday.
Yeah, 1-0.
1-0. So, you know what? It is a good shout. It is a really.
What I was trying to say was Ben, Graben's not going to play. Apparently, they think it's a thigh injury, so that he's not going to be there on Wednesday. Okay, because they take time. So he's going to have a centre forward on the bench. All right, Taylor's going to start. So what I'm saying is, will it be Silva, or will he take a punt at Will Swan? And I think if he takes a punt at Will Swan, it will show you what they think of Silva. And that's not me being negative. That's just how I think is down the line. That's all I was saying. But I do think, and it wouldn't surprise me if come to January, if people looks at that and says, well, I can work with this lot. I just need a forward, because we did look like, I mean, I can't recall their goalkeeper having a shot to save in the second half.
I can't remember.
No, it was just a couple. It was more running across the box, or
yeah.
We did have one that worked a real nice corner, and I think Taylor pulled off. And I think that if that had gone, I think it was on target and it hit a defender, but obviously it just bounced out. I mean, I'd love Taylor to go and score a hat-trick on Wednesday and go, yeah, hallelujah, that's it, he's a 24 man, but it don't work like that, does it?
Me personally, I know what you're saying with Swan, and I agree with you. Bring him into the squad because obviously he's doing it for the under 23s. But I think because of the predicament we're in at the minute, still sat second in the bottom of the league.
Third.
We're third now. All right. Yeah, we're still in the relegation zone. I think personally, you'll go for Silva just for that more experience. I think if we get higher up in the table, then maybe he might say, right, Will Swan, let's get him in, because you can take that chance for the last 10, 15 minutes. If you are 1-0 up or you're losing or something like that, you can still bring him on. He's not. You can afford to lose them points, but at this moment in time, we can't afford to let anyone run away from us. So that's my personal opinion. But I agree with Steve saying that bring Will Swan in, because apart from the Middlesbrough game, didn't he score one against when they played the other night and they won 4-5-0? Yeah. He scored again. So, like you say, give him a shot.
This question from Paul: what planet was Ref on today? He didn't have a clue half the time. When was that? Did he do a mistake with
when the ball hit him? Remember when the ball hit him and he was about to blow, and then Millwall ran forward and he just went, "Yeah, go on then."
He went
to blow, didn't he? And the Forest lad stopped and off he went and was like, "Oh my god!" And I thought this was going to go in. I thought, God, brave man.
That was shocking. That was shocking today from the referee. Almost cost us. Right, on this view, right, like I said, today's do you think like the point was deserved today, or do you think Forest should have won?
Yeah, I think it's a fair result, to be fair. If you look at both halves, like we've already said, first half, I think Mill deserved to be in front, to be honest. I think early on in the game, like I said, we were all right. Had some pretty good chances, but I think the second half, we did deserve a point. But I do think if anyone was going to win, it would have probably been us, to be honest, because we had better chances than Mill ever had. And like we've said, we didn't really have any full-on chances. We just had a lot of the ball because their goalie didn't really make any saves. It was just we got it near the goal. And it flew past it occasionally, but we can't actually. I just think it's that finishing product that we can't find, and everyone says it. We do need to sign a striker. And like we were saying there, without grabbing, will Swan get a chance? And I think it would be fair because he's been playing well in the under 23s. But I think it was you, Stephen, that said obviously because we're not higher in the league, is it really worth taking a risk on a youth player? So yeah, we have to wait and see on that one.
I was saying Steve, you mentioned and you mentioned Will Swan. If Graben is injured and Will Swan, but would you what changes would you make like against for Barnsley? Because I think he'll make changes. What players would you take out, Dylan, for Wednesday's game?
Well, today's game and Wednesday's game is going to be a total different game, because today's game reminded me of playing against Middlesbrough and Cardiff. Big teams, slugging teams, far. Do you know what I mean? They just want to get the ball up, and they're not bothered. They'll hack you down. I think that's what frustrated Forest today, and not getting the flow like they did against Huddersfield.
Yeah.
I think the game against Barnsley, then I'm not really seeing Barnsley this season, but
We never win at Barnsley.
No, but yeah, no,
Never won at Huddersfield.
Yeah,
exactly. But I think Barnsley.
When's the last time we won at Barnsley? That's the problem.
Wednesday. It'll be a Wednesday.
Okay.
But I think where I said earlier, where Barnsley play a different style of football, so therefore it might be more free flowing, passing more, being able to get the ball through, and not being fouled all the time. So I personally think, do you know what I mean? These two games are going to be totally different. But if you can play the football on the floor and pass the ball, I think Forest, like you say, Forest can do it. I just don't think at the minute the team's built to go up against like a Neil Warnock side, a McCarthy side, a Gary Monk side, because they're too big and they're not bothered. They'll get a 1-0 win and they'll just hack you down. And that's how they play.
Yeah, I understand. This for you, Steve. Like, was you surprised with the bench? Because we've got players like Bong, Carvalho, even on the bench as well. And
yeah, that was the only thing I was worried about when I listened to his after match comments, when he said, I went for an attacking bench and put a defender on, and I thought, please, someone tell him Bong's not a defender. All right, please tell him that's not a defender.
You didn't have a defender, did you, on the bench? You was guys saying
Bong's not a defender. He just collects the bibs when you want him. But I think this is what we've brought in. I think we brought a manager that wants to create something, and he likes creative players. He was obviously Zink was always going to be on the bench anyway because he was injured last week, and you said about changes on Wednesday. I don't know whether he'll make any changes unless he comes into this thing. Well, I just need to give certain people a rest because he's got Wednesday and Saturday. So if I was looking at it, I would start with the same 11, obviously, except for Grabban because he's injured, and start with Taylor. Personally,
but
that's my opinion.
Did you not, Steve? Did you see today? Lolly for the last two games has looked like his old self, and he looked really tired.
Sorry, I wouldn't drop Lolly. I think.
But his tiredness.
His
tiredness might get him.
He's going to give you 70 minutes or 65 minutes, fair enough. But if you've got a Lolly in your team, he's got pace, you as a defender, you've got one eye. Well, I don't want to push too far up because he's going to, attack me coming back. So you're going to hang back. But I would go same 11, except for Tyler for Grabban because he's injured. And that 11 hasn't lost a game yet. So why would you change it?
100%. What about you, Rads? What would you like if you was manager? Would you take any changes?
I agree with Stephen. To be fair, I probably wouldn't make any changes because I know we've already established first half wasn't great, but we haven't lost a game yet with that formation. So obviously we have to replace Grabban. So, and I agree, Taylor has been very average and he's kind of invisible. He spends most of the time on the floor. Is it worth a punt at putting someone like a Swan or a Silver at least on the bench or even starting? But I probably would just play Taylor, even though I don't really know what he offers. But this is the reason why I think most fans are pretty baffled that we didn't sign a striker in the summer. So as we said, Cooper could say to the people to go and sign the players. Well, I like the squad, but just go and get me a good, solid centre forward, because that's what we need. That's what everyone knows that we need. So yeah, I probably, just because we haven't really got anyone else that is experienced, would just stick with Taylor, I suppose.
The 75 people in. If you've got any questions to ask Dylan, Steve, or Raz, please comment below. If you are new to the channel, please do hit the subscribe button. Next up is Barnsley. Like I said, it's 4 points out of 2. Like, let's just be real. Like, we're still first bottom. We've gone up in the league, but Steve, like, are you happy with these 4 points in 2 games?
Oh, listen, Ben. When I walked out that Middlesbrough game, and I'm sure you guys will feel the same, I walked out, it was dire. And I will put my hand up, I was a guy that liked Chris Hughton, okay? But I don't think I'd got to the top of the stairs of the Peter Taylor stand, and I turned around to my lad and I said, he's got to go. He's got to go. It was dire, absolute dire. I mean, we were, if we'd have stuck with it, we're going to League One, all right? And the last 2 games, if you'd been asleep for 7 games, all right, and these were the 2 games you'd been to see Forest, you'd be thinking, well, these must be halfway up the table, the top end. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, to me, the football's better, everything's better. The club seems to be having a direction now where it wants to go. And yeah, so, but it was just, I'd have snapped your hand off 4 points out of 2 games, after that Middlesbrough game. I couldn't see where the next win was coming from.
Me too.
Goal.
Yeah. Me too. Me too, Steve. Like I said, as you mentioned, like, the game against Middlesbrough, like, that killed me. Was you there, Dylan?
Yeah, I was with you.
Yeah, that game killed me. That literally killed me. I think what killed me was the Stoke game, Steve. That game killed me. Literally killed me. And but like I said, we got Steve Cooper in 4 points in 2 with Steve Reed as well. So people as well, are you happy with the 4 points? Like I said, we've got 2 away games against Barnsley and Birmingham. But and there's a question as well, people, and you can comment as well. What points would you take? Would you think we need 6 points in these next 2 games, or would you be happy with 4 points? Right.
I was thinking about this earlier, actually. I think obviously Barnsley haven't been as good as they were last season. And I think we probably did expect a bit of a drop off from them. So arguably we do need to win that, but it is a place we don't tend to win, as we've already said. Birmingham, it's always a tough place to go that as well. And to be fair, they've done better than I thought they would this season. So yeah, I would be happy with 4 points. To be honest, we need 6. We need as many points as we can get, because we need to get out of this situation. Just to, at least get out the bottom 3. But I think give 2 away games in a row. If you can get 4 points on that, I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest. But if we lose, which I wouldn't be surprised given the situation we're in, it's obviously not good. But yeah, I just 4 points. I wouldn't mind that, to be honest.
There's some question. You lot can answer it as well. From Phil Sutton. Might start Johnson as a striker and Zig and Laura supporting. Johnson as a striker? He's not a striker, is he? He's more of a winger.
For Wales, Andy. Has he played for Wales as a striker?
No, he's played as more of a winger, left winger. So
he's played on the right. He's played on the right and the left for Wales.
Yeah, I won't say Johnson. Johnson's more of a creative person. Like the goals, the assists he's done against Coventry and Huddersfield. I wouldn't put myself striker. If that's my opinion, people. If you disagree, put in the comments. Dor, I know you like Taylor, but come on, he has to go. He's awful. Oh, dude. People, I just like him. He's a striker. And I don't know. I like Taylor. 4 points would be good as well. Game. I'll take 4 points next 2 games. Is Reading heading for a point deduction too? Yeah, are Reading heading?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. But by the sound of it, them and Derby might not get it till later on in the season.
No, Derby are getting it.
What definite? What when?
Derby are getting it. It was on TalkSport yesterday. Trevor Birch said on TalkSport yesterday, I think there's something with this Wickham in the pipeline because Trevor Birch said Derby County is the worst man management ever seen, and we've got to be fair to the others. And I think he meant Wickham because if it had been sanctioned last season, Wickham would have stayed up and they'd have gone down.
Survived.
So I think Derby are getting it.
Did I read in an article that Derby are allowed to appeal for their points deduction?
They've basically got what's going to happen is basically the EFL want to give them 9 points, yeah, but now they're at either the administrators or the new owners, if when they get it, have to negotiate with the EFL. The EFL ain't going to budge on 9 points. That's what they've been found guilty. Simple as. So, does the administration for Derby now accept the 9 points? Get the 9 points taken off, then they can move the club forward and sell it. Do you know what I mean? Because yes, it's all right buying a club, but then they're going to turn around and say, yeah, come on, buy the club, but you are going to get 9 points. So give them all the points now.
Sorry, Steve, what you saying, Steve?
No, Steve, wasn't it?
I think the impression I got, the administrators have reluctantly accepted the 9 points because, like what Dylan was saying, he was spot on what he was saying. What they didn't want is it would affect because this 9 points, and I think what Derby had agreed, it was a 12-point deduction, but then they reduced it to 9. So Derby had agreed to that. Mel Marsh had agreed to it, I think 2 weeks before we put them into administration. And the EFL have said, no, you've got to have it. But the administrators are saying, no, to put it in now. So, like Dylan says, it's spot on. You know you're buying that club. Reading might be a little bit different. I think Reading might be a little bit different.
I think Reading can still go. I think, like you say, I think Reading can still. They haven't had the process of appealing yet.
Yes.
So I think they can appeal where Derby's already appealed. And basically, Derby need to be sold as a League One club. That's the way it has to go. That's what I understand.
I think that's what I understand as well. If I read it,
because they're going to get 9 points. If they get the 9, even Wayne Rooney said the other day, if the 12 points that we've got were on -2, we probably can try and get out of this. But if we get any more points, that's it. Basically, game over.
They've got to go to League One because they can't get away with that, what they've done. And I think even the Derby fans know they can't get away with it. So
Paul, that's none of my business to a fair. So
anyways, that's on the point situation.
Yeah, I don't think Reading are as far as Derby, but
they've not appealed yet, have they? Because didn't Sheffield Wednesday cut theirs down to 6 or something like that?
They cut down. Yeah, I think they did, but
from 12 to 6.
It was 12.
It will happen. We hope. This is the next question, and as everyone knows, Steve Cooper, you got a 2-year contract for Forest, and this is a question for me to ask you, and this is for I think I've asked Dylan, but this is for either Steve or Rads. Like, we know this season a write-off. We're not going to make the playoffs. I don't think. As we know, the owner, he likes to chop and change quick. But do you think Cooper will be under pressure to get his promoted in his 2 years, Steve? And people in the comments as well. You can answer this as well.
I think Forest are changing their philosophy. I think there's a strategy now going to be put in place, and I don't want to go on about it. I think they've seen what's gone off down the A52, and I think they've gone with that's not going to happen to us. And I actually believe that the first thing Steve Cooper will do is to make these young players better, to develop the academy players and to have a good go at it. Yes, I think they'd like to get in the playoffs and try and get promotion in the next 2 years, but I do think there's a different way how we're thinking up the top at the minute, and I think you can see that. And someone said to me a few weeks ago, when did you think Chris Hughton's time was up? And I said the day Forest took on Dane Murphy, because he just wasn't the man he wanted to bring this club forward. And so to your question, do I think? Well, I think everyone's under pressure, ain't they, to get promoted? We all want to get in the promised land.
The Forest, you know what, Steve? The Forest is like a graveyard.
Mm.
And that's my opinion.
The thing is, with Forest fans, well, like us all, we've all been guilty of the start of the season. We're going playoffs. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. I think now, with Steve Cooper in charge, Dane Murphy at the helm, we know exactly what they want to do. He wants to bring young players in. Cooper works with young players in. Cooper's basically said that's what he's going to be doing. So I think playoffs, promotion, for the next 2 years, we need to forget about. Whatever happens, if we can get there, it's a bonus. But whatever happens now, we need to rebuild. Rebuild, simple as. If we end up mid-table this season, beautiful. We know in the summer, maybe January, he's got to sell. He may have to sell one young player, like maybe Johnson may go, maybe Worrell might go, just to bring some more money in. We know that's going to happen. But me personally think playoffs and promotion we need to forget about for the next 2 years while he's there.
Forest fans were fickle. We want to go promotion this season. This is what I'm saying, right? Because this is the question I like to ask Rad as well. Like he's a young fan, and he hasn't scored nothing very successful with Forest. Like as a youngster, right? Do you want Forest up straight away, or do you like this 2-year plan?
Well, in a dream world, yeah, of course we want to be in the Premier League, but realistically, we're a long way away from that. And there's no point in saying, "Oh yeah, let's get playoffs this season," and then we somehow manage to win them, and then we'll get destroyed in the top flight. We're nothing close to that right now, unfortunately. And we've seen how we had 2 years, of course, under like Karanka and O'Neill and Sabri and the Moonshire, of course, where we were pushing for it, and it looked like, yeah, we are actually starting to get here now. And it was probably the 2 best years I've known as a Forest fan, really, because I've not really come close to anything else like that. And it's just depressing how it's just fell apart again. But I think, especially because it's happened again, we have to realise, well, let's just be real about this. It's still quite a long way off, and forget why it fell apart. Forget the Stoke debacle and everything. We have to just move on, like we were just saying there. So yeah, just accept what we have now. At the very minimum, we need to stay in in the Championship, and then just see where it takes us. And I think as we said, we definitely appear to have an actual plan in place now, whereas it appeared like we didn't have a clue at the start of the year. And I agree with what Dylan said. I think Hughton, his time was up when Murphy came in, because the two didn't seem to go together at all. And especially when you see Murphy coming in as well. Cooper, I think you can definitely tell it fits his style a lot more better.
Right, there's about 5 minutes to go. But people as well, I'm going to tell the lads as well. Who was your favourite player today? Best and worst. We'll start with the best player. No, we'll start with best and worst. Dylan, who was your favourite player and who was your worst player today?
Favourite player. I know they gave Spencer the man of the match, which he deserved. No, fair play to him. But I think, like Steve said as well, you've got Figueiredo. Yeah. He did a job. I think, Worrell looks a bit shaky at the back, but I think that back three, they did quite well. So I would say Spencer because he was given man of the match. But for me, Spencer and the back three, they played quite well. Worst player, just trying to think now. Worst player, really. I couldn't, apart from Taylor, but I don't like bagging on Taylor because I like Taylor. And I just think sometimes, I don't know if anyone agrees with me this, but it's like sometime when the ball was coming in the box in the second half, he just seems to be 2 or 3 yards out of position when you're thinking to yourself, Jesus, man, why are you not more centre of the goal? Do you know what I mean? Just to be able to stick that footing. So I'm not going to say worst player.
Go on, say it. You can't.
No,
you can't
because
just
I don't. No, I don't believe it. For
Go on, no. Who
for-
underperformed? Who underperformed today? Who underperformed?
I think Taylor did. Me personally, because I like Taylor because I like his energy and what he brings. But like Steve says, he spends more time on the floor.
Okay.
And
Steve, what are you, Steve?
Well, my man of the match today, it's just gonna get the nod. I said at the beginning, Fig for me. I thought he played really well today. He looked, I think, 3 or 4 weeks ago, you just thought Fig was his head weren't even there. But he the last 2 games, I've been really impressed with him. Worst player, I don't think,
Underperformed, Steve.
Underperformed player. Oh God. Well, I suppose you've got to go with saying what Dylan said. I think Lau could have done a little bit more. I think he could have done a little bit more, but he wasn't that bad. I just think
he just underperformed.
Yeah,
he underperformed.
He'll go and bag a couple and he'll shut us all up.
Yes, I want him to do that.
But do you not agree, Steve? Do you not agree with Taylor? He just plays. To me, I think he can be. He did it for Charlton and everything. I just think that last 2 or 3 yards of when we're attacking, he just needs to work on, just to be a bit more there.
I think today, Dylan, I counted about 4 times, and one was Johnson, Lolly, or something, where they went to put a ball in, and Taylor went the other way, or they put a ball across and Taylor had pulled back, and you just thought there was no coordination between them two. Where there was one in the second half, I think Johnson ran down and crossed it, and you just thought. I tell you this now, if Graben's on the pitch, he sticks it in. It went right across the box, and Taylor's nowhere near to be seen. And you just think Graben that he's going to just stick that in. But for me, 3-0 on Tuesday, Taylor to get 2 and Yates to get the other one.
That was brilliant. That will be brilliant.
And by the way, Ben, the last time we won at Barnsley, Montana was the manager. 5-2.
5-2.
Yeah, that was
the last time we won at Barnsley. Wow.
Yeah.
Steve, please don't mention who scored that hat-trick, please, because I think he's an absolutely prick.
Who is it?
Don't mention the guy who scored that hat-trick. Who?
Ryan Yates.
Yeah, don't mention the guy. I think he's a bell end. Raj, Raj, who's your best and worst? Underperformed. Dylan's voice. Underperformed.
Yeah. I think, like we said, Figs was great today. And I do think that Spence did deserve man of the match. I think Figs did as well, he could give it to either of them. And Lowe again didn't really put a foot wrong. To be fair, actually, I haven't said that. I remember he did head it to one of Millwall's players, but then he made up for it by doing a great clearance. So, I mean, fair play to him for that. But I probably either of Figs or Spence. I probably would say Spence, to be honest. I think Spence has been great so far, and I think in general our fullbacks have improved us so much. We've gone from Bong and Gabriel to Spence and Lowe. It's quite a massive improvement. Underperformed player. I probably would go for Taylor. Like we've all gone for Taylor.
I'm not going for Taylor. You lot can no.
Apart from Door.
Hatred between Taylor. Well, he was bad, but it wasn't.
Yeah. There's no hate. There's no hate.
Yeah, I like Taylor as a person.
He's underperformed,
but as a player, I just think he just lacks. I don't know, just a lot. I just think. Yeah.
I think Cooper needs to just sit back, just watch him back at Charlton and think, how did this player do it at Charlton? Let's figure that out.
Yeah,
100%. I think I'm agree with you. I think Figs was me man of the match. No, Spence was excellent, but for me, Figs he dealt with Matt Smith. I know Matt Smith scored. He always scored past Forest bloody every time. But second half, he kept him quiet, and that's why I think he got subbed off, because he did play second half, play well second half. Who played average?
Below par.
Below par. Okay, Taylor.
Yeah, you were back on it.
Yeah, it got to be Taylor. Yeah, but wait. Even league with me. Joe Worrell had an off day today. Even Joe Worrell had an off day today because he couldn't deal with Matt Smith, and that's why I think we did mention with playing three at the back. I think Worrell's wasn't used to it with.
No, yeah, he's not.
So, no, I'm not going for Taylor. I'm going for Worrell. Worrell was below par today. But it is what it is. People, it's been a pleasure for coming on. Dylan, thank you very much for coming on. Steve, Steve, again, I'm going to pre-warn you. Can you stay off that channel, please? I'm not going to promote that channel. I saw a little clip on the end, so you can please stay off the channel. Do you know?
I'm a popular man. They all want my opinion. I've seen us win European Cups. You lot ain't. You know, I got 2 stars on my arm.
Oh, he's coming in now. Right, could be ears.
You know, I had a question today. How many managers have Forest had since Brian Clough? And I think I could name them all. I think it was 24.
What? Before we go, I am going to do a show this week. I'm going to do a ranking of who's the best from good to bad. So watch out for that show. I might bring Steve in because like I said, you know the Brian Clough days. I'm from Brian Clough to onward. So I'll bring you on, Steve, because you'll be good at that. Rads, before you go, do your link. Like Rads is a YouTuber, everyone will know. Plug on your channel.
Yeah, so I'm Rads, obviously. I do very similar stuff to what Dore does, mainly around Forest. I do a bit of general football as well. But yeah, if you enjoy what Dore does, I'm sure you enjoy my stuff. So I'm very close to 2,000 subscribers. So if you come over and subscribe, that would be brilliant.
Link below, so people could go and subscribe. Yeah. He's the second favorite, best YouTuber.
Second favorite, yeah.
Who's the first? Who's the first? Oh yeah, we've already established
Max,
that one, didn't we?
Max is number one, as everyone assumes. But it's been a pleasure. People, like if you are new to the channel, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. And who we got next? Barnsley on
Wednesday.
No, Steve, you kept saying Tuesdays. You kept saying Tuesday to me, Steve.
I thought it was Tuesday, but obviously, I thought it was Tuesday, but you said it was Wednesday. So I'm getting there a day early.
It's your old age, Steve. The old age.
What a lovely place Barnsley is, isn't it?
I know. To be fair, it is a good stadium. I think we lost 2-1. Who was it? Was it Warburton? Was it Warburton? I think it was. We lost 2-1. I think it was. But yeah, people, thank you very much for coming on. And lad boys, thank you for coming on as well. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Rads. And hopefully I'll see everyone back on. My vlog's out. Rads, did you do a vlog?
Yeah.
When's it out?
12 o'clock.
Oh, for free. Wow.
When today?
Well,
tomorrow?
Is yours the same day? Yeah, mine's. Yeah,
mine will be out 10 o'clock in the morning. So mine will be out 10 o'clock in the morning. But I'm not even started editing. So yeah, people, tomorrow 10 o'clock tomorrow morning that'll be out. But yeah, boys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for everyone for watching, and see you Wednesday. Up the Reds, everyone.
See you later, boys.
See you later.
Bye.